Hi. So you just told me you're working as an actor now. What's that about?
I am. I'm working background work. So I've done a couple commercials, really excited about those. One, hopefully you'll see, is the Sports Illustrated casino. And I had a actor husband, which was really unusual for me. My husband was a little bit perturbed, but
So tell me about this reinvention.
so, I'm 59 years old. I'm going to be 60 this year. And it's a little bit strange moving into that big 6-0,
Yeah.
but I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of the experiences that I've had in the workplace and really wishing that I've had some connection to kind of bring me through in a more positive. I made some big mistakes and probably some things that I wouldn't have made if I had mentors or if I had networks. So I'm building a network.
That's great.
And we have our first conversation this Saturday with a group of women who are just dynamic, and they're providing tools, resources for people who are just getting into the workforce, but also for women who are already in the workforce and who can offer words of encouragement, offer resources. It's all about bringing people along, not just getting what you can achieve for yourself, but being able to support other people and bringing them along so that they can thrive, not just survive.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you had no mentors when you were younger, or hardly ever.
Yeah, I did have mentors. I had mentors from my family, older mentors, who had not gone through some of the experiences that I went through. My grandmother worked on the railroad. So my mother passed when I was 12. My grandmother raised me and 5 other siblings.
Wow.
And so my mentors were my uncles, my aunts, my mother's siblings, and they were first generation college individuals.
Yes.
They were individuals getting into the corporate world, and as you know, the world was changing. So I was born in 1963.
Yeah.
Think about all the changes that the world has gone through, especially for women, and then when you think of Black women. So I did have mentors, but when you think about corporate mentors or women that were in the corporate environment, a lot of the individuals I was going through or I met were experiencing those things as I was experiencing. So yeah, I didn't have really good, solid corporate mentors.
Reinvention, I love it. I love it. And there's so much of it going. So tell me about New York. Why New York for you?
Yeah, wow. That's an interesting story. I came to New York for a company to actually work in a global role. And I had such a wild experience with New York. First of all, I wasn't familiar with all the diversity, not familiar with trains or buses.
Yeah.
I was on a bus one time, and the bus driver got into an altercation with another driver. I thought the driver was coming at us with a gun, and I jumped on the floor. Needless to say, I'm on the floor, and the rest of the passengers are looking at me like I'm this crazy woman. I had an older woman just give me like that poor child look. But I learned from that experience that what you think might happen doesn't always happen in New York. New York is very, very strange, and there's lots of strange things going on.
So how old were you when that happened?
Wow, that was probably, I'm sad to say that I was in my 40s. But I came from the Midwest, and the Midwest is a little quieter. Midwest is a little bit more consistent. You get what you get.
Yes.
New York, you don't always get what you get. You see different people, you see different situations, and you pull things out of the back of your head and expect them to be, what you've already experienced.
And now you consider yourself a New Yorker?
Not really. I can tell people I'm from Brooklyn, but I always have people say, no, you're not from Brooklyn. You're still from the Midwest. We can tell by the way you talk. We can tell by the way you walk. So yeah, I want to be from Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn. Brooklyn has so many exciting things going on. And I really love New York in general, just the theater. I love being able to do Broadway movies and just connect with different people.
So you're a marathoner.
I am a marathoner. I believe in keeping yourself fit very from your whole mind, body, and also from a spiritual perspective. So again, as I reach out to women of color and women in general, I want women to know that you don't have to be one-dimensional. None of us are. So I started running my first New York marathon in 2015. I've ran 5, and I just believe that it's a way I can keep my mind strengthened, also my body. And so not only do I believe in exercising, but I also believe in eating clean and eating properly. I believe that you can't get the minerals and the nutrients that you need for your body through food, so you do have to take supplements. So I take lots of vitamins.
And so, have you always been a health person, or has that increased as you've gotten older?
No, I've always been healthy, but not really knowing what healthy was, what those actions were. Me and my 2 older sisters, we owned a gym. So you've probably heard of Curves.
Yes.
So we've owned a Curves for about 8 years, and I managed it. Put on a lot of different activities where we could see women really change, their bodies, their minds, how they think and feel about themselves. We ended up closing that gym, but I've always been into fitness and always a belief that what I do now is going to help me in the future. So whether that's bad, I eat bad. In the future, I'm going to be on medication and I'm going to have lots of pain, or I eat well and I take care of myself and I'm active. Then in the future, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to be able to walk without heavy breathing. I won't have heart disease and all kind of diseases.
Or take prescriptions, as
or
you
have
said.
to take prescriptions.
Exactly.
So absolutely.
So do you think there is all right, now I'm 70, and if I decided to get fit, is it too late for me?
No, absolutely not. We can always change where we're at. We can always change our health. One of the things I remember one of my fitness coaches telling me is that your body has a memory.
Yes.
So you can start eliminating certain things out of your diet, and people think it's more about exercising and the effort, but what you put into your body is more important than that exercise. By putting in those things that are going to help improve your help improve what you're eating, take away some of those sugar cravings. Water is so beneficial. I think people don't understand the benefit of water, how it helps your organs flow, how it helps your skin, how it helps, with just being hydrated in your thinking. So water is really important. There's so many things you can do no matter how old you are to correct what you didn't do in the past.
Love. How old are you now?
I am 59. I'll be 60 in May.
So how's that feel?
It feels scary. I don't say that out loud a lot. It feels somewhat like a disconnect. I remember growing up and looking at my teachers who were 35, thinking, oh my God, they're so old. And so now I'm approaching the big 6-0, but I don't feel like I'm 60, whatever 60 is supposed to feel like. My body does tell me sometimes when I'm running and I'm trying to run faster or trying to run a longer distance, my body will tell me, hey, you're not 40 anymore, you're not 30 anymore. But I think it's scary. Sometimes it feels good, but overall, it's an interesting time in my life. I'll say that.
So now that you're hitting 60, how has sex and love changed for you as you've gotten older?
Well, that's a personal question. What I can say is I've always had a really different relationship with my husband. We live apart, and so we're only together like once a month, and it's usually like 3 days a month. What we've been able to find out, and we've been married for 29 years, what we've been able to find out is that the time that we're together, that intimacy is very important to us. It's important that we spend time with each other. loving each other, caring for each other, talking about those important things versus arguing or discussing things that have no importance at all, because we value the time that we have when we're with each other.
Oh, I love this. So you're saying it's not a day-to-day thing. It's quality, not quantity.
Absolutely, absolutely. We realized that, I would say, probably our first year that we got married, when I would leave on Monday and come back home on Friday. So now we're a lot older. We do things a little bit different. Typically on Saturday nights, we're watching mindless movies and we're eating popcorn, but we're sharing that time together. Although we live apart from each other, FaceTime has been awesome in our life. When I moved to New York back in 2011, we started using FaceTime, and we're on FaceTime as soon as we get home, and then early in the morning. We have prayer together in the morning, and then once we're back from work, we're back on FaceTime. So we spend time together, but it's not physically together. And I think that's what's unique. You don't find a lot of couples that have that type of relationship.
See, I like that people be more inventive about how they have relationships rather than be in each other's face.
Yeah, amazing. Many of the older women that were in, like, my mother's circle, disapprove of how me and my husband live. They believe that a wife should be at home daily, and that it allows opportunity for your husband to be unfaithful. We have a great relationship, not just with each other, but we have a great relationship with God. And so we know that whatever we do, whether it's in secret or it's in public, there's a higher being that watches over us, and we're accountable for. So I think it's what you start out with and how you and that person blend together. It's not a relationship, or it's not a living arrangement that I think everyone is going to grow from. But for us, it's been awesome. We love each other when we see each other. So we're not that mushy individuals, but we do care for each other and how we treat each other and the quality time that we spend with each other.
You're not interested in an open relationship.
Absolutely not. In fact, I don't even think I have the energy to deal with another human being on that level. I think sex is so intimate.
Yeah.
When you are with someone, not only are you becoming one with them through sexual intercourse, but mentally you're connecting with that individual. So definitely not interested in an open relationship. I can't imagine being without my husband, and I can't imagine starting all over.
So do you give a damn about what people think about you? Has it changed as you've gotten older?
It has. I think when I got 50, I got to a position where I'm going to do me.
Yeah.
You know, again, to me, I have a higher being that I'm accountable for. So you're never going to please everybody.
Yeah. And
you're always going to have people who like you, and you're going to have people who don't like you. So I'm going to do what is right for me and is right for, who I'm accountable to. I always want to be a role model, especially for my nieces and nephews, and I want to be a role model to younger women so that they'll see someone. I use the phrase, I want to cast a shadow that anyone can walk in and feel that there's high integrity, morals, and that they are doing what is right for themselves and for other people.
Nice. So has your libido changed as you've gotten older?
Absolutely.
Oh, it has.
First of all, I believe that people need to be transparent, especially as you get older. I grew up where you had to wear a mask, and you really couldn't talk about things, sexual things. But in order to really help our young people and to help other people, we really need to be honest. So yeah, I would say in my 20s and 30s, I was really into sexual activities and really trying new things. And then as I got older, especially when you start thinking about your career, and a lot of women have children, so some of those priorities take advantage. But I always desire my husband, just not as frequently as I did when I was 25. Well, actually, I think we got married when I was like 30. But during that time, so absolutely, it's changed.
Do you think it's through menopause that shifted for you?
I think, so I started menopause a little bit early. I started in my early 30s and going through those night sweats, which is really horrible. I'm still having them. But I do think that a lot of it had to do with just a change of my activities with what I was doing so much. And when you start thinking about the activities that you have, if you're running, all of that impacts how your body changes and the timing that it changes. So my body is a little different. When I was in college, I really didn't have a menstrual cycle. So starting on birth control pills, that really changed a lot of how my body functions, but it also gives you a lot of freedom. So there's a lot of time that you can have sex because you don't have those 3 to 5 days that you're menstruating.
Yes.
So I'd say that it's very, very different. Even going into menopause is very interesting because my doctor was saying, I think you should come off the pill. I was about 55, being very, very cautious. But it's almost like you start counting these days, but you can feel when you should kind of move to a different level just based on how your body's functioning.
Yeah. So Myrna, what did you have to learn the hard way in your life?
That's an interesting question. What I can tell you is my grandmother raised me to think that you work hard, you do your best, and that great things are going to happen. It's not always true. You need to work hard, you need to do your best, you need to do your due diligence to learn and to build those skills. But there's a world out there that is not as loving and caring as your parents or my grandmother. So what I had to learn the hard way is that you can't trust everyone. You can't always come with your heart open, but to stay guarded and to test people, build relationships versus thinking relationships are automatically there to support you. Not all relationships are there to do that. Some are there to harm you, and you really have to be wise. And I'm still learning that. I have a spirit of loving people and trusting people, and I've been burnt.
Yeah.
But I believe that, and I was just reading this morning, I believe that justice and revenge is not something that I have to worry about.
Yes.
A lot of people talk about karma. I believe that what a person dishes out, what they give, it's going to come back to them.
When
So,
you're 34, let's say, and know what you know now, what would you do different?
do a lot of things different.
Like what?
I'd be more courageous. I'd step out. I'd speak more openly. I think for so many years I showed up in different places as a person that I thought that individual or that corporation wanted me to be. I didn't show up as authentic Myrna. I think if I would have done that at 30, I'd be at a different place where I could have more power to bring people, more experiences and resources to bring people along. You know, women are so courageous. They're so determined. And every challenge that we have, we continue to find ways to overcome those challenges. If I would have started out bolder at 34, I can just imagine where my mind and what I would have achieved right now. I'm trying to make up, but you can never make up for time. But I am moving forward with being authentic, looking at who I am, not what society says I should be, as well as reaching back so that other people can bring their authentic self to the table and not feel bad about it. And when you have a challenge, start over, build up. You know, the Bible talks about we fall down, but we get up. So let's just keep getting up and, you know, charging forward.
And that's what you've done. You keep reinventing.
Absolutely. I think there's some foundational things that you have to have. You really have to have a spiritual foundation of strength and faith, knowing that you can do it. And with that spiritual foundation, you believe in good. So earlier we talked about how my biggest disappointment or what I had to learn the hard way, but you always believe that it's always going to turn out to your good. And then I also think that you really have to focus on your physical body, so that even though you believe and you want to do something, if you're not physically able to do it, then it can't be done. So taking care of your physical body helps to meet that mental capacity, and then being able to take those actions and put them into work.
And how do you feel now? Meaning you're nearly 60. How do you feel your body as well as your mind? Good?
I
You
feel
look good.
great. I go through, the same changes that every individual goes through. Some days you just feel like, oh my God, I'm tired. What I do is so hard. And then there's other days that you're on the top of the world and you feel like, I'm so glad that I can give. I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so glad to be alive. My body is in great shape. My last physical, my doctor said, for your age group, your vital signs are higher, or they're out of the water. And so I believe in just taking care of just my physical body, because that's also going to translate to my mental body.
So, you mentioned you owned a gym with your sisters. I mean, how many careers have you had? I think kids need to know about this, that there's not a time limit. You can keep reinventing. Tell me.
Absolutely. So I've always been in HR, and I've worked for corporate organizations. But in addition to that, I believe that you need to have something else that you totally believe in and you control.
Yeah.
And that's kind of hard to do. So we have had a gym. We've always been involved in physical, mental health. And so we opened up a gym to bring women in who we could transfer some of that knowledge. And through that gym, not only did we help women get healthier, but we built a lot of great relationships and friendships through the individuals that came into the gym. So yeah, I've been inside a gym owner. I've worked as personal trainer. I still work as a personal trainer. I've been a spinning coach. I do HR work, professional coaching on the side, help people with their resumes, coach people with interviews.
So here you are. You're turning 60. I don't think you're looking at retirement.
Oh, wow. I do want to retire from the corporate world, but financially I need to stay there a little while longer. But my dream is to be available every day to help individuals that we consider outcasts, those that we consider unloved, homeless people, individuals who are coming out of drugs, coming out of rehab, coming out of jail. My dream is to be able to open up this facility where I can welcome them in, help provide them with resources, and get them into a better life. I don't believe that we're here just to survive. I believe that all of us are here to thrive, but it takes people to help others. No matter where you're at, it takes us to charge forward and help others.
So that's your next.
That's my next.
Are you starting it now? Are you starting working?
I'm not starting that now, but I'm starting now working with having conversations with younger women, and starting with focusing on issues in the workplace.
So what kind of resources?
So I went through a class probably 6 years ago, and it talked about opening up your own business. So my vision is to have a home and to bring people in on a 10-week program. And during that program, providing them with a place to stay, but also providing them with tools and resources, mental health. How do I get back into the workplace? How do I find a place to live? If women are separated from their children, how do I work on getting my children back? So there are organizations out there now. So my next would be to focus on getting connected with some of those organizations, kind of learn a little bit on how they do it, partner with them, and then my hope is within 6 to 8 years that I'll have the funds to have a building, have a house manager, be able to pull some of those resources that are available and to bring in, and I'm really looking at probably a small amount between 8 to 10 individuals at a specific time, and then moving to another group of individuals and helping and moving step by step, little by little, supporting that demographic.
Excellent. Now tell me about your working as an actor. How did that happen for you?
Well, right now I'm looking to do something different. I want to be able to get better at speaking publicly, feeling comfortable with this huge unknown group of people. And
Right.
so
Did you get an agent?
I didn't get an agent, but I joined a website and they've been looking for background people. So fortunately, I've gotten a couple of commercials, which those are a little bit more profitable financially, but those are fun. I've been able to meet people through those commercials, and they've recommended me for other jobs.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
Good
it
for
is
you.
fun. It is fun. It's new. It's different. I think it helps to build your level of confidence.
Sure.
It also helps to. I've met so many people, so it's helped to broaden my network.
Absolutely.
But I'm looking forward to it.
How do you deal with your inner critic?
I think we all have an inner critic. I listen. I think it's very important to listen to what's going on in your head. However, I a lot of times will write things down. I have to come to a reason or a recommendation that is solid, and it also confirms some of my belief. So when I have doubt, I always say, I'll doubt that. And then what I have learned is from a very close friend of mine is to doubt the doubt. So I also believe that you can conquer anything that you want to conquer. Now, it's not always going to be easy, but if you doubt the doubt, you're always pressing towards that goal, or you're always pressing towards that accomplishment.
Yes.
I think women criticize themselves more than anything. I'm learning to accept compliments. You know, have you ever had someone say, "Oh, you look great today," and you're like, "Oh, this little thing"? No, you look great today. Why, thank you.
Yes.
So I think a lot of that has come over the years of just kind of accepting things, but staying positive. I believe in what I call the mood elevator. If I stay above here, which this line is curiosity, I'm always going to think positive. That curiosity is going to help me move into excitement. Curiosity is going to help open up my creativity. If I'm staying below that mood elevator, that's when I'm depressed. That's when I'm angry. And when you start thinking of those types of emotions, those are things that decrease your ability to think fluently, to think clearly, to think positive. So, yeah, we all have an inner critic. We should. But should we stay there when it's negative? No, we shouldn't. I always believe in moving to the other side of the equation.
So now you're turning 60. Are you starting to think about life ending?
Life after 60?
Yes.
Eternity?
Yes.
Yeah, I will say I probably start thinking about eternity, like where will my spirit be around the pandemic, really seriously. I've always had an insurance policy. We've talked about getting our will together, but during the pandemic we lost so many loved ones and so many friends that it really makes you think about our immortal being. And it's frightening when you hear how so many people are dying unexpectedly. I just buried two of my close loved ones, and I had to take care of their funeral arrangements. I think when you have situations like that, it makes you really think more about how surreal it is, and that you're going to cross over that bridge sometime. I think the other thing that for me is sad is when I think about my spouse and I think about my family members, like my siblings, and you don't want them to go before you.
Yes.
You want to go so that you don't have to deal with the heartache. But we believe, so my foundation is that there is life after death, and the way you live now and what you choose to do now gives you eternal life of hope and a wonderful life here thereafter. So
Nice.
it's like bittersweet.
Yes.
When loved ones go and you know that they're leaving, you feel sad because they're not with you, but we believe that they're in a better place and their soul is resting, and they would never want to come back if they had a choice.